that doesn't work.
Attempt number 3.
I would like this.
This is Jimmy's podcast, season 9 of the podcast. We're coming back for more. I bet you never thought we'd last this long. Breaking news, show reviews, rubber boots, reacts, and lots of social media crap. And if nothing else, you know we're gonna have a laugh. We're gonna have a laugh. This is the podcast.
Welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. We just got on here. Everything's been working perfectly.
I would shoot on me.
Well, like we literally just all sat down and logged on. That's how great modern technology is. Didn't really work
As
that
you
way.
sit in the
This is
car.
all true. Yeah. Why are you in the middle of a road?
Okay, so maybe it didn't quite work that way. First of all, we were in studio last week. It sounded great. I know all the listener feedback. They loved it. We're going to attempt to do studio as much as we can this year. We had logistical difficulties today, mostly Puffy's fault. And
How?
thus we tried. Hey, just don't interrupt. We don't have a lot of time.
Fair is fair.
We thus had to do it from home, and then Jimmy had some Wi-Fi issues, and now he had to leave Brooksy and the dogs and drive away from his home. And hence, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm in my car. And here we go. It's the episode.
Nice.
So you got my castmates aren't frustrated at all with me because they've only been sitting there for 45 minutes trying to get this going. That's why I love you guys, though. Look at you. You're happy. You're smiling. You're back for episode 2. And Lester, you have to go now. Thanks for coming by, Lester. Great episode. Lester's got to go in a few minutes, but we will be back in studio next week for sure. We'll just do a short one for you today. So what I was going to get into before we had our issues was I was at the airport yesterday, flying to my hometown, the nation's capital, to have a little visit with the Buffalo Bills. I'll talk about that in a second, but there's I'm going up to the lounge, the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge there, which, by the way, used to feel like it was kind of a perk of going to the airport, but now basically everyone who goes to the airport has access to the lounge, so you're actually better off just to go to your main gate. Okay, that's my little airport advice.
Sad for the elitists.
It is sad for the...
Sorry the likes of me came in there.
It's a little sad for the bourgeoisie. No, actually, I take that back. They brought back the soup and the salads and the sandwiches, so it's actually okay. Anyway, bottom line, there's one elevator that you take up to the lounge, and it's got one big fat button on it to say down because you can't go up. You're on the top floor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And on this elevator, there's like a sign with a QR code saying, "Download our app to control this elevator through your phone." And I was standing with this dude, and we were looking at each other going, "There's one button here. Why do we need an app to control it?" And I sent it to you guys, so we figure it's health reasons, like it's a COVID thing.
James, COVID.
Okay, but we are all touching 8 million. We're touching 8 million things when we're at the airport.
It's like ordering off the menu. Maybe it gives you more options.
Yeah. Well, and someone complained, and they had to do it.
Okay, but what if two of us do have the app, and we're both trying to control the elevator at the same time? What's it going to happen?
There's only one way to find out.
You blow it to your death.
And how many different options are on there when there's only a down button? Like, does the app have more options with the elevator?
Did you download the app, Jimmy?
No, I wasn't going to do that. Stupid thing. But I sent you a picture. Could you scan it from the picture I sent you? That doesn't work that way.
I'm going to scan it, and now I'm going to control that elevator day and night.
All day.
Up and down.
Yeah.
Side
well,
to
maybe there's an extra room for the elitists that you didn't.
Like discover. Another higher thing.
On the app, you can have like the elite club.
Oh,
exactly.
The Super Duper Lounge. I actually found out there is another Super Duper Lounge at the airport if you're flying internationally, but you have to be flying to like Beijing or maybe Qatar. I'll find out when I go to Qatar in 2 weeks.
Find out.
Puffy.
I have lounge access.
Right. So
no, you don't.
Go down in the...
I do.
Jimmy's going to see to the fact that you don't. He's going to feel special.
I do not want... You will ruin the fancy lounge for all of us bourgeoisie.
It's true.
I
don't wear pants.
There's a fancy lounge where you get like lobster and steak and everything's like fine dining. It's down in the international departures, but it's only if you have your ticket. You have to have a business class ticket. I don't know. I've never gotten in there before. I tried to sneak in one time with Brooksy and it didn't work. But some banker buddy of mine said it's like the lounge of all lounge. Like you don't want to even take your flight. The lounge is so good.
Really?
So I think you get massages and manicures and everything
dances.
in there.
Can you go in like the day before?
But 3 days before Mr. Cameron, it says here you're not leaving until next Thursday. That's accurate.
That is correct.
I just well.
What do you want to do for Jimmy's? Oh, I was going to say I was hanging out with. Are any Bills fans? No, we got Eagles fan, a Seahawks fan. Lester, who's your NFL team?
If I was a football fan, I'd be a Bills fan. So let's call me the Bills fan.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I was hanging out. I did the speaking gig in Ottawa. Remember last year I talked about Jack Nicklaus and how cool I got to interview Jack Nicklaus for a while. So this year it was Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas. And Andre Reed from the Bills.
Wicked.
And so it was fun. You get to sit and eat. And Jock Climby was there too. Like Jock did like the VIP thing before, and then I did the thing to the crowd after. You interview him for an hour, and very good guys. Except they did not want to talk about the Super Bowls, which was half of my material. So basically, I go, all right. I got like half an hour left, and I'm like, okay, guys, I know this is tough, but let's get into the Super Bowls. And Bruce Smith interrupts me and goes, you know what? We're not going to talk about that. We were 4-time AFC champions. That's it. And I'm like, okay, now what am I going to fill the rest with?
With all seriousness, wouldn't you think somebody would have given you that heads up that they were not going to talk about it before you got there? Like, come on.
You know what? I think that was basically Bruce. Like Thurman, I sat beside Thurman at dinner. He's good with it. Andre's good with it. And I do feel for the guys. Like I'm sure they do these a few times a year. And you think about if your entire life, they're all Hall of Famers, but your life is defined in a way by those losses, right? Everywhere you go, that's what you have to talk about. But I think what has happened, and they touch on this in the doc, Lester, is that they went from being all the late night talk show jokes, right? The Bills, like that was a running joke for like a decade, but now as time goes by, and maybe because the Bills are getting good again, I think there's an appreciation of winning 4 straight AFC titles. And I agree with this. Like it's, you think of the Olympics. If somebody wins 4 silver medals, let's say for Canada, they're a hero, right? But you in a sport like football, you lose 4 Super Bowls and you're losers. And baseball does it well. Baseball celebrates pennant winners. They do champagne after they win the friggin' wild card game, right?
Yeah,
right. But like even in football, for example. Earlier in Brady's career, or midway through, when he had a losing record in the Super Bowl, people would hold that against him. They wouldn't say that he went to 5 Super Bowls. They said he lost 3 and only won 2.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. I guess maybe that's the mentality of it.
Yeah, it's people. But I listen. I agree with you. I agree with you in the sense that look, 4 AFC titles in a row is amazing. And think about it. Nobody else has ever done that.
Nobody will again. There's no one's going to 4 straight Super Bowls again. Not even your beloved Eagles there, Stuff. No one is going to 4 straight Super Bowls again. It's impossible in the cap. It's impossible.
I don't know about
it's impossible.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah, highly unlikely. You can't keep teams together for like 2 years. I mean, the Patriots are obviously in a bit of an exception, but were they ever in 3 in a row? They were never in 3 in a row, I don't think so. You take a year off.
They've definitely been in 3 and 4 years, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Jimmy Summers Adventures. Let's do a quick version. I'm going to give you guys multiple choice. All right, you guys get to pick. It's called.
I'll pick something else.
Staff participation. Yeah. Okay. So do you want? Jimmy loses again? This also is a preview of all the episodes we're going to do all year. You want Jimmy loses his phone at the bottom of the Adriatic Sea? That's A. Mm-hmm. You want Jimmy wins big golf match with the unlikeliest of partners? That's B.
Okay.
You want Jimmy almost gets murdered in Turks and Caicos? Episode 3.
Oh, that's the one. That's one. Don't even give me the rest of the options.
I want to see who Jimmy won the golf match with.
Come on.
Really?
So, I love the Turks and Caicos, and I rave about it all the time. And when I say get murdered, Jimmy tends to exaggerate at times. But this was the first time I'd seen the other side. So what happened was, did you guys know that I did a TikTok? So what happened? We were in the Turks and Caicos and we flew Darian's boyfriend down. Did you hear about this?
Great TikTok.
So,
That was awesome.
I didn't think I just was making a TikTok more for my family. Gracie said we should make a TikTok. So we snuck, his name's Wes, good guy, great guy. We snuck Wes out into the ocean. Like I picked him up at I guess I'm going backtracking. I'm at the end of the story now. We snuck Wes out into the ocean.
Like a Quentin Tarantino.
So like he was swimming in as if he'd swum across the ocean. And like Darian was surprised and we made a TikTok out of it and it went like, I don't know, got like 3 million views or something like that. But everybody thought we faked it. TikTok's an angry place. Everybody thought I faked a reunion with my daughter and her boyfriend. Yeah.
Every single video on that platform feels like it's fake to an extent, though, right?
It looked that way because they were the only two people in the ocean. But it was just because it was shot beautifully by me as a cinematographer. Anyway, that's what happened. The preamble to that is I go pick Wes at the airport. We don't tell Darian. They go for a walk on the beach. And Jimmy gets his car towed because he parked illegally at the Turks and Caicos airport. So,
of course he did.
So I'm completely, now I don't know what the hell to do. And so I go to like the taxi. I go to the guy at the airport. I'm like, do you know who towed my car? And he goes, I don't know. There's just a couple of guys that do it. I'm like, what do you mean? There's no authority? No, he goes, they just do it if they want to do it. I'm like,
we got a tow truck.
So I finally get a phone number. And, at Turks and Caicos, everybody knows everybody. So the guy called him and the guy, hey, you towed that little white car? And the guy's like, yeah. Where are you? And so I have to get a cab. And this guy driving me to like this place. And he goes, I got to warn you, this is the only bad part of Turks and Caicos. This is where the guy towed my car to, right? So we go down to some remote little point of the island. Luckily, my taxi driver was this big, huge guy, really good guy. And so he takes me, and it's like the road was kind of broken. It was like it took us 15 minutes down this bumpy ass road, and then we get to it's not you get your car towed here, you're at some parking lot somewhere. This was a junkyard. Like the cars were destroyed. And I'm like, they've already taken my car and it's been completely stripped. This in my mind is 100% true. Right? Uh-huh. So the taxi driver, who of course knows the tow truck guy, but they're not friendly, they just know each other because everybody knows each other. So he's on the phone with him. He's like, where are you? Bring the car out. And the guy's like, no, I'm not bringing it out. I need $250. I want to see it in cash. So the guy finally comes out, the guy who supposedly got my car. And he's like, you're not going to see your car unless I see $250. The taxi driver gets out. He's like 6'3", and he's arguing with the guy. Meanwhile, Wes is in the back seat. And I'm going, oh, my God. And then a couple other heavies come out. So now there's a discussion in Caribbean language, and I'm just kind of sitting down in the car seat. And I'm like, anyway, he negotiated me down to $150. So I give the guy $150 cash. Of course, I had to give the taxi driver $100. So whatever, it was a wash. it was a $250 mistake.
From by the way, from the clear hustle. From the clear hustle.
They're all in cahoots on this.
They're all talking in Caribbean. Should have been your first clue.
God.
No, wait a second.
They're literally dividing the money at that point. It's like, you take 150, I take 50.
He gets you a deal. You walk away like, what a great guy, and they all owed you. That is amazing. They're like actors. Did you tip him even more? They're actors, man.
You know what's crazy? I bet you Wes was in on it.
It was
he probably walked away with a 50.
No. You guys all think you're funny.
Oh, my God.
The taxi driver.
No.
The taxi driver. Listen to
100%.
The taxi driver already told me it was going to be $100 for him to take me across to that part of town before he had the negotiation. So in my mind, I was in for $350. So I feel like I won at $250.
Yeah.
Did I get hosed for $100 on the taxi? 100%. But did I emerge with my life? And my daughter's boyfriend's life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But that for sure, this is a thing these guys do. They work together on it, right?
No.
The cab driver probably called him and said, listen, this idiot just parked his car, we can grab it.
No.
Are you crazy?
No.
For sure.
No, the cab driver was a good guy. I'm sticking by that.
I
saw their fight. It was a legitimate discussion. It was a legitimate Caribbean fight.
James, was this not a rental car?
Yeah, it was a rental car.
Why don't you say it was
couldn't you
stolen?
just tell the rental company it was stolen? Like, why'd you bother with any of this?
That felt like it was.
I would have been like, I came out to the airport. My car's not there anymore.
I think the rental company's in on it too. They tipped him off. I got a real rube who just landed.
Oh my god!
It starts on the plane. It starts on the plane with the stewardess. She picks up the lines.
Oh my god!
Then they call down to the tower.
He's got plenty of money. He just flew down his son-in-law. He's rich. We can take him to the cleaners.
Do you guys think this is
He was at the villa 2 years ago.
Do you think QAnon has something to do with this?
Oh, for sure. Saros, everyone's in on it.
Lester, by the way, I know you got to go soon. You tell us when you got to go. This is supposed to be a short episode, but do you have to leave?
I got another five. For
okay,
you.
As soon as you got to go.
Hit me.
Okay, so anyway, I emerged with my life, and there was one other subscript that when Wes and I, when we finally got the car back and we're like, get the hell out of Dodge, the car was parked next to a little wreck car, and there was like 5 little scared puppies underneath the wreck car. Like they were like little stray puppies, and they were like newborns. And now I said, Wes, we can't leave. We got to rescue these puppies. And Wes said, no. I said, okay, let's get the hell out of here.
Fuck them puppies. Let's get the hell out of here.
No, Wes wanted
that would have been another $500.
Oh my god.
Anyway, Wes was very brave. He was heroic. And I felt better with him because he's a big boy. And $250 for a lesson. It makes Jimmy's summer adventures, so it's almost worth it for that. Don't you think?
For sure.
Maybe I'll get everybody on
Jimmy
as a guest. I'll get the guy that towed the car. I'll get the taxi driver, and we'll see.
That'd be hilarious.
Reenact the.
They all know each other, so there's no way they're working in cahoots.
Listen, look. I will side with Jimmy to say it is somewhat possible that it's all legit. But possible. Listen, unfortunately, whenever you have a situation where they're not even taking your car to a legitimate pound, I have questions. You know?
No, listen. There's no regulations for this on the island. Apparently, there's 2 guys that tow cars, and they don't even
hold on.
And told you that though?
Huh? No, the guy at the
did Bruce tell you that?
No, the taxi
driver who's in the scheme.
Jimmy, you better go along with this. I don't know what they'll do. These guys are animals.
Jimmy, I'm telling you, Jimmy. After this call, we're gonna have to talk about some land I just purchased in Florida that I think you'd be a great investor in on.
You guys can mock me all you want. Okay, first of all, the guy, I went to the actual airport authority guy. He was the first guy who called the tow truck guy. And the taxi driver I got was random. They were in line. It was his turn.
It just happened to be his turn. The guy who knew where your car would be.
You don't understand the islands like I do.
I think we got to have Wes on to talk. He's the only witness who could corroborate whether or not this is actually. Wes is going to be like, yeah, I knew right away, but I didn't want to break his heart. He thought we were on an adventure.
Well, the problem is, on the other thing is, I know the guy, like I always rent the car from the same agency, and it's the guy I know. He's a Canadian dude, so I can't call him and say my car got stolen. And then he finds out it was towed from the CCTV cameras. My reputation is damaged.
Yeah, but if these guys are just towing whatever cars they want.
No, I was parked illegally. I was. I didn't think anybody checked. I thought it was, island, man. Just let everything go. Stupid. There was a parking lot like 50 yards away where it was $2 for parking too.
Hilarious. Hey guys, listen, I will jump off now because probably going to change subjects, but to our listeners and viewers, thanks you, and see you next week or whenever we do this.
We'll do it next week, Lester. Thank you, buddy. So, what do you want to do, Stoff? We said this would be a short episode. Pick your favorite segment and we'll do it, okay?
Freaky pigs, strange chicks, world affairs, polar bears, fake news, nice shoes, big boobs, jack dudes. All of these things and more as I sat on the shitter things that I saw on Twitter.
Okay, boys. So this is a big drama coming from the world of chess, and we're talking grandmasters here. So this was at the U.S. Chess Championships in St. Louis last Tuesday. Chess grandmaster Hans Niemann was seen having his rear end inspected as he arrived at the chess tournament. Now, you might ask yourself, why were they inspecting his rear end? What were they doing? So an official at the event repeatedly waved a metal detector over the 19-year-old's butt, following wild claims that the prodigy recently cheated with wireless vibrating anal beads that he inserted into his rectum. So basically, they say he was cheating by having vibrating anal beads. Were helping him win. So I know that sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand how that would help you cheat in chess.
Okay. So apparently in chess, as I did a little bit of digging in this, there are obviously now like programs they have that will tell you what, given any game, what your best move is.
Okay.
And even the best human players in the world can't determine those ones
as quickly or whatever
in a sequence. Yeah, they'll never pick like 4 of the perfect moves in a row. So you're able to tell if someone's cheating using an outside source like that. So that's what they're implying, that somewhere else is sending him messages via vibrating anal beads.
Wow.
As to what move to make. Now, this guy has been accused of cheating in over 100 other games, but it hasn't been proven yet. He's only admitted to cheating twice in his life, but says both were as a child. Now, he's only 19, so I guess he was a child that long ago. But basically, so it's a huge controversy. Even Elon Musk got it in making jokes, and then it blew up even bigger. Now, apparently, Niemann is suing one of his opponents for $100 million for accusing him of this, so it's becoming a huge thing. But for me, it's just like... this first and foremost, I guess it's just like it shows you how the internet can go nuts. There's absolutely no proof that this happened.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, they're putting a metal detector to this guy's ass when he walks into a chess tournament. So it shows you how crazily things can just get out of control. But let's assume it was real for a second. Did you ever in your life want to win that badly at something where you would resort to
maybe it would feel good.
That is
maybe.
You think maybe he's just doing
Puffy,
it for that?
Maybe you could send me on the panel. You could like send me topics through my anus. Like if the beads,
he's just vibrating at the edge of the panel.
You're just like, wait, guys,
power play. That's a sad statement if that's the case, but it's also kind of brilliant. But how did they? Was there anything in the article that said how they deduced that it was anal beads? Like, what was the evidence?
It's a rumor. People started about him. It's just a rumor. Other competitors started that he must be getting it from somewhere, and then online it just blew up.
Well, did you guys see this summer the 2 guys who got caught cheating in the fishing tournament?
That was amazing.
It was so good because I guess these guys have been winning all these tournaments, and they've been winning like boats and like thousands of dollars in prizes, but people were suspicious that they were cheating, and so they won another tournament, and then one guy just had enough, and he went up to their fish and he cut it open, and there was all these like
weights.
Like metal ball weights in the fish. And the mob turned so hard; it was so good.
Oh, of course.
What are the
weights? What are the weights?
Heavier.
To make it
heavier. It's just heavier.
You win.
Oh, they jacked up their weights.
They stuck weights down the. Now the thing is, they got really careless in the end because apparently, if you look like let's say the winning stack of fish was 6 fish, and they all looked pretty big, and they weighed like 14, let's say 15 pounds. I don't know. And then these guys had like 6 fish that looked half the size, and they weighed like 35 pounds. So it was a bit of a giveaway.
But so they were catching the fish, and as they were catching, they were shoving weights in its mouth?
They were stuffing weights and then other like fish, like parts of other fish down to get more weight. And it was like for the satisfaction these other guys must have had. Because when you know someone's cheating, but you haven't been able to prove it, and then you catch them red-handed, it must have felt so good. They were like, oh,
and the
amazing.
guys just stood. They just stood. You know,
They just stood there.
Yeah, just imagine stuff. Your typical fisher guy with his like Bass Pro Shop hat and his like lumber jacket, and he's just standing there. The guy doesn't. They've got no answer because they've been just caught absolutely red-handed.
Like as red-handed as you can be caught.
Yeah, it'd be like pulling the anal beads out of the chess guy's ass right in front of everybody
while he's playing,
and everyone would just go crazy.
I think that would break the internet, literally, a moment like that in existence.
Yeah.
But, do you respect like the fact that he wants to win that badly?
No.
Is there like the old if you're not cheating, you're not trying?
No.
No, I don't. Yeah, no.
It reminds me, the other story, there was a lot of cheating stories this summer. You know, I tend towards the golf stuff. There was a story that came out, and I don't know if I sent you this, Puffy, but this was a qualifier for the U.S. Open. And this guy was caught cheating in a U.S. Open qualifier. And it was ludicrous what he did. Basically, it started on like the 14th hole of the last round of the qualifier. And his two playing partners saw him hit a ball basically, like it was a par 4 that was like 365 yards. So like not really reachable maybe for Rory and these guys, but not guys in a U.S. Open qualifier. And they said he hit a crappy like low drive to the right into a hazard basically. And but it was kind of foggy out, or they couldn't see over the hill or whatever. So, you know, they're all looking, and then he goes up further with his caddy, and all of a sudden he hears yells, "It's in the hole! It's in the hole!" He said he got he said he got a hole in one. And then later in the round he hit another ball into a hazard, and then he said, "Yeah, I found it. And then he goes and hits. So after the round, basically the two playing partners said, we got to say something about this. So they said something to the officials, and obviously they couldn't do anything about the hole in one because he got up to the green first. But they went back to the other place where he said he found his ball, and they found his other ball, his original ball. So they knew he'd been lying. But anyway, so then they started digging on this guy, and he has claimed in his life to have like 48 holes in one.
No.
And like 30 albatrosses.
Oh my God.
And so now they're questioning like
is he the leader of North Korea?
Yeah, basically that he's been BSing his entire life and cheating at golf his entire, and he's obviously a good golfer to get to a qualifier, but he's been cheating and exaggerating exploits his entire life for this. And I just don't get it, man. I guess if that's, I don't know. It's a pretty sad statement.
I'd almost like to see that guy get on like the PGA Tour and like playing in like a Masters and get like so exposed cheating, like blatantly for the world, like, or he'd shoot like 98 because like he would be so far off the ability.
Right, because Patrick Reed's cheated before, but Patrick Reed's a hell of a player, and he cheats in really subtle ways where he pats down the lie behind his ball here and there.
He's not flipping balls out of his pocket.
No, exactly. Anyway, you got some viewer mail for us before we leave there, stuff?
Listen to the mail. Listen to the mail. Thank you for listening.
I sure do, Jimmy. We'll start off with this, that our friend Tyler Schreiber has found your waitress, Penny.
Penny was a big hit. A lot of people were asking questions about Penny.
A lot of people like Penny. So what Tyler did is he actually found a couple more reviews of her online, and I'm pretty sure these are reviews of her. This one here's first one is from Paul Brown a year ago saying, nasty 70-year-old bleach blonde bartender basically wouldn't sit me at the bar with my business partner because I wanted a Diet Coke instead of alcohol. She said those seats were reserved for drinkers.
That is
like Penny on that.
That is 100% Penny?
I think that's fair.
That is definitely
sounds like Penny. Ali Hansen says, extremely rude staff stood around for 10 minutes waiting to be seated before sitting at an open table. 15 minutes later, hostess finally shows up and tells us to leave the restaurant as she didn't seat us.
That's awesome.
Could have been Penny.
Yeah, that's a quality establishment I was at.
I got to go there.
Abel Duarte writes, so disappointed in the service, old lady, she wasn't a good service. So, bad service from old lady.
So that's at the Tampa airport?
No, Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, Fort Lauderdale.
And Debbie Bishop writes, the waitress was hateful. She was an older lady with blonde hair.
Should I add a review?
And these are all from a year ago. It's not like people heard the podcast and tried to.
I feel like I should add a favorable review. Charming, attentive, fueled my alcoholism. All those things.
If you were single, James, and she made a pass at you, would you have been open to her overture?
No.
There was a lot of positive reviews for a waitress named Barbara, so perhaps that's who you should.
Puffy, you already know my story. Like, I'm afraid I cannot tell about the pod about quite a senior woman that may have happened to.
Yeah.
Who's quite a famous woman in this country. And I should never mention this because now people will wonder, but I just can't tell it on the pod. Nothing happened.
Amazing.
No. Nothing ever happened.
No. Unfortunately.
Much to Puffy's dismay. Okay, anything else?
We got lost bag stories, but they're a little lengthy, so
save them.
We'll get to those.
Save them till save them to studio.
Other than that, just a couple odds and ends. Louis Cove comments on our new commercial-free podcast. Hate to break it to you, Forward, but they were ads inserted when I listened on Apple Podcasts. To be honest, I expected nothing less. # commercial-free. So yeah, a lot of people glad we are back. Chewy Louie writing, so happy you guys are back. Leave it to Andrew to be working on another invite to the studio by bribing you guys with mugs.
Very smart.
Saw Chewy Louie at the World Juniors again. He showed up in Edmonton this summer. He was one of the one of the 7 fans in attendance at the World Juniors.
Then we got Travis Lazarchik saying, the Rubber Boots pod is finally back. My commutes just got a little more fun again.
Nice.
I'm sure that's the case for many people, but for Brian Hayden of my town of Bradford here, he writes, finally, my showers are entertaining again.
Oh, wow.
Weird.
Things are definitely looking up for Brian.
How do you do that? You put it on the external speaker sort of thing? I don't hear a lot in the shower.
He messaged us last season saying he listens in the shower.
Right.
And I guess
could he write back in and say, I want to know how that
iPhones.
works though, because I can never hear anything in the shower. So does he have a speaker in his shower, or how does that go?
I think he may have actually explained this to us again. I'll go back and check.
Jesus.
This is quality stuff.
Jesus. I'm sorry.
We're now interviewing our listeners multiple times.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
For the same
For
info.
the exact same info. All right, so we'll finish off with the lovemaking music from last week.
Nice.
Greg Lockhart writes in, I really, really enjoyed this format. Blah, blah. Shout out for Lester for the new intro. And now he goes typing this as the final song plays and realizing this song would be perfect. I'll try it in the morning.
Ooh, hey now.
After his wife,
that's the Rubber Boots guy song.
leaves.
When there's no one else around. When there's no one else around. Sean Morrison also commenting on the lovemaking music. And we're going to have to do a whole nother episode with just Sean Morrison's feedback from over the summer, because he's gone over like another 3 of our seasons.
Okay. Oh, wow.
But this one is about the lovemaking music. And Sean writes, that song is horrible. What does Buddy do after this 3-minute song ends? The first girl I ever hung out with had me stop midway because I was following the song's rhythm. I had no idea I was. I think it was an Eminem song.
Oh.
Ever since it's always stuck with me to make sure I'm not in rhythm.
Oh, nice.
So you learned something. I'm just wondering what Eminem song he was making.
This seems like a job for me, so everybody just follow me.
Okay, I thought maybe it was the one where he murders his wife, or the one where he
Damn, my
buries
number
her.
one fan. How about started at the bottom, now we're here?
Stan.
That could be a lovemaking theme there.
That's a Drake song.
Yeah.
Oh. That's right. That is Drake. Oh, you know why I got confused? Because
Eminem Drake.
The Chicago Blackhawks back-to-back years used an Eminem song and then a Drake song for the Stanley Cup Finals. Starting from the bottom was the first year, and then they used Eminem the second year, and so that image popped into my head. I know Drake. He's my favorite artist next to Tay-Tay.
Well, you
You guys vacation together.
I'm sure he fell for the same airport ruse.
Drake was there. That's next week in Jimmy Summers Adventures. Drake was back on the island. We hung out again.
Nice.
Again, apologies for not being in studio this week. Apologies for Jimmy's bad Wi-Fi and the fact I had my thumb, I think, on the screen for half of the episode. And also apologies to Lester for keeping him for an hour before we got started, and then he only had 15 minutes and he had to leave. Poor Lester. So we'll be back in studio hopefully next week. Give you guys another week to come up with your love-making song. That was supposed to be your homework this week. And
I told you I don't do love-making songs.
Oh yeah, you like it quiet. You like it quiet in there.
I like it quiet. I like just
hear yourself.
Regular people noise.
Okay. You can hear yourself soft.
My dirty talk.
Well, maybe you could come up with a hypothetical one if you were forced to use one.
Okay.
Like if you had to make love in the club. I want to make love.
Eminem started from the bottom.
Eminem started from the bottom.
What a classic.
Eminem.
Hey. I could do the entire album. My children used to sit in the car seats, and I would try to turn down the swear words, but I sometimes would miss. So like Gracie at like 3 years old was like singing "Clean It Out Your Closet," which is rife with profanity and bad themes for 3-year-olds. But she would sing. She would sing along with me. She's okay. She's not too demented.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening and watching, everybody. Like I said, back in studio next week. We promise. See ya.
Hey, how are you? I got a question that I really wanna ask you. Wait, don't hang up. I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like the dunk tank at the fair? I know it's a little strange, my obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. I know that you're on TV, but I need you to put your boots up on the desk for me. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like the dunk tank at the fair? This is the part they call the bridge. A bridge has water under it. With rubber boots you can wade in the water. Just don't fall in. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like a dunk tank at the fair? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? The dunk tank at the fair. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? No, seriously. Are you wearing your rubber boots? Don't hang up. Please. Somebody. Hey? Anyone?